Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Bhakti
Krishna,
Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
And devotees. Start with Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we are continuing with our prayers this week with the final set of verses from Bhajagovindam Stotram by Shripad Adi Shankaracharya.
Prabhuji, your voice is very low.
Okay. One second, Mata. Okay, am I audible now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. All right, so let's continue this. Anybody would like to sing today?
Can I sing? Try, Prabhuji.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita Kinchidadita Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita Sakrudapiye Nimurari Samacha Kriyate Tasya Yamena Nachacha पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम् इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे रत्याचार्पता विरचितकान्ता पुण्या पुण्या विवर्जितपान्तः योगी योगनियोजितचित्तो रमते भालोन्मत्तवदेव कस्त्वं कोऽहं कूट आयाता कामे जननी को मे ततातः इतः परिभावया सर्वामसारं विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारं त्वयि मयि चान्यत्रयको विष्णुः व्याप्तुं कुप्यसि माया सहिष्णुः भावसमीचित सर्वत्र त्वं वाञ्छ्यास्याचिरधायति विष्णुत्वं शत्रौ मित्रौ पुत्रे बन्धौ मा कुरु यत्नं विग्रहसन्धौ सर्वस्मिन्नपि पश्यात्मानं सर्वत्रोत्र सृजभेद ज्ञानं कामं क्रोधं लोभं मोहं त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावय कोऽहम् आत्मज्ञान विहीनमूढः ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढः गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं ध्येयं श्रीपति रूपमजासं नेयं सज्जन संगे चित्तं ध्येयं दीनजनाय च वेत्तं सुखतः क्रियते रामाभोगः पश्चादान्ता शरीरे रोगः यद्यपि लोके मरणं शरणं तदापि मुञ्चति पापचरणम् तमनतं भावय नित्यं नास्ति ततः सुखलेशः सत्यं पुत्रादपि धन भाजं भीतिः सर्वत्रैसा विहरीतिः प्राणायामं प्रत्याहारं नित्यानित्यविवेकविचारं जप्यासममित समद्विविधानं पूर्वावधनं महदावधनं गुरुचरणाम्बुज निर्भरभक्तः संसारादरिचारद्भव मुक्तः सेन्द्रियमानस नियमाधेवं द्रक्ष्यसि निजहृदयास्तं देवम् मूढः कश्चन वैययकारणो ढुङ्कृङ्करणाध्यायनधुरिणः श्रीमच्चङ्कर भगवच्चिष्यै बोधित आसीच्चोदितकरणः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते नामस्मरणा धान्यमुपायं न हि पश्यामो भवता तरणे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि रक्षति डुङ्कृङ्करणे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे थैंक यू प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful. Okay. Bhajagovindam Stotram ki jai, Sripad Adi Shankaracharya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, we will read the translations for these wonderful verses 21 to 34. Anybody would like to read?
Hare Krishna, I can read, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol. Yes, Kishori Mataji.
Let a man read but a little from the Bhagavad Gita. Drink just a drop of water from the Ganga. Worship Murari, Krishna, just once. He then will have no altercation with Yama, the Lord of Death. Born again, death again, birth again, to stay in the mother's womb. It is indeed hard to cross this boundless ocean of samsara. O Murari, redeem me through thy mercy. There is no shortage of clothing for a monk so long as there are rags cast off the road. Freed from vice and virtue, onward he wanders. One who lives in communion with God enjoys bliss, pure and uncontaminated, like a child and as someone intoxicated. Who are you? Who am I? From where do I come? Who is my mother? Who is my father? Ponder thus. Look at everything as essenceless and give up the world as an idle dream. In me, in you, and in everything, none but the same Vishnu dwells. Your anger and impatience is meaningless. If you wish to attain the quality of Vishnu soon, have Samabhava always. Do not waste your efforts to win the love of or to fight against friend and foe, children and relatives. See yourself in everyone and give up all feelings of duality completely. Give up lust, anger, infatuation, and greed. Ponder over your real nature. Fools are they who are blind to the self. Cast into hell, they suffer there endlessly. Regularly recite from Bhagavad Gita, meditate on Vishnu in your heart, and chant his 1,000 glories. Take delight to be with the noble and the holy. Distribute your wealth in charity to the poor and the needy. He who yields to lust for pleasure leaves his body a prey to disease. Though death brings an end to everything, man does not give up the sinful path. Wealth is not welfare. Truly, there is no joy in it. Reflect thus at all times. A rich man fears even his own son. This is the way of wealth everywhere. Regulate the pranas, life airs within. Remain unaffected by external influences and discriminate between the real and the fleeting. Chant the holy name of God and silence the turbulent mind. Perform these with care, with extreme care. O devotee of the lotus feet of the Guru, may thou be soon free from samsara. Through disciplined senses and controlled mind, thou shalt come to experience the indwelling Lord of your heart. Thus was a silly grammarian, lost in rules, cleansed of his narrow vision, and shown the light by Shankara's apostles. Worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda, O fool. Other than chanting the Lord's names, there is no other way to cross the life's ocean. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Vishwari Mataji and Shamakarna Mataji. Wonderful. Yeah, whenever I hear Shamakarna Mataji you're singing, like I said, it reminds me of MS Subbulakshmi singing in the morning in South India. Okay, thank you, Kishori Mataji, for the wonderful translations. Yes. Yes, a lot of these instructions kind of, I was again meditating since we're transitioning to Prabhupada Leela Amrit. Many of these instructions that Shankaracharya is giving here sound like what Prabhupada was giving to the Beatles yesterday, to John and to George and Yoko, who came to meet him for the very first time, right? Reminding them that here are pure devotees of the Lord. They were having their own versions of Gita in their mind or some other forms of meditation, this and that. But Prabhupada clarifies, or with like a thunderbolt, he clears their misunderstandings. He tells them that they should worship Krishna, and here are pure devotees who are always thinking about Krishna or serving Krishna so wonderfully. So this is the version that they should follow, what they're seeing, versus just having some random thoughts and reflections of themselves. So, and Prabhupada is now in London, of course, and also very thankful to all his 6 initial disciples who worked so hard, tirelessly, to establish this foothold in London. And it was nice. Yesterday I kind of got a message from Malati Mataji, and we were reading about her, so so it was very nice. And I told her that we were reading about you and all the other devotees who established the London Yatra. So it was coincidental, but it was wonderful that she messaged yesterday. And she will be here for Rath Yatra, so that will be wonderful as well. Okay, so let's continue here. So yeah, Prabhupada is going for a morning walk. So we'll continue from here. Anybody would like to read today? Tittenhurst. So this is the place where they are staying right now, at John Allen's place. Okay, I'll continue then. Tittenhurst dated back to the 1770s, when the estate had been renowned for its many varieties of trees and shrubs, one of the most unusual collections in England. Even now, cypresses, weeping beech, Austin poplars, royal palms, redwoods, varieties of pines, monkey puzzle trees, and orchards of cherry and apple graze the stately grounds. One cypress stood more than 125 feet tall, and the redwoods grew even taller. Bushes and vines grew in dense thickets. Close by the main house were hundreds of rhododendrons, a formal rose garden, and several fountains. The estate had its own lake, stocked with goldfish and perch, and at a far end of the property stood a row of greenhouses for grapes and peaches. Designed so as to be abloom in every season, the grounds had been carefully kept for generations, a recent owner having employed more than 20 gardeners. John, however, was deliberately allowing the grass to go uncut. Prabhupada walked out into the morning mist, onto the long wet grass. Dressed almost entirely in black, he wore a Russian hat with earmuffs and black rubber Wellington boots. A black, full-length overcoat given to him by the devotees in Germany covered his robes and sweater, leaving only glimpses of saffron cloth. As Prabhupada walked, accompanied by several of his disciples, he passed a fountain near the main house and entered a grove. The path narrowed with vines and bushes close in and led them into an open meadow, once a well-tended lawn but now a field of high grass. Bulldozers had excavated an area which, according to rumor, would soon be a helicopter landing field. At the bottom of the sloping meadow, Prabhupada entered an orchard. Many leaves had fallen from the trees, and the sun's first rays now revealed shavings of autumn gold at Prabhupada's feet. He stood under one of the trees, and the diffused sunlight made the sky beyond the branches glow golden. In my childhood, he said, there were so many names given to me. My maternal uncle called me Nandu because I appeared the day after Krishna appeared, and there was a great celebration on that day. I was called Nandu because I was born the day after Krishna, and I was also called Govardhan. One of my sisters used to call me Kacha. I have been called so many names. As children, we were all beautiful. There are also so many names given to them, but all these names, they are all dead and gone. He turned and began to walk again, saying nothing more on the subject. Prabhupada mentioned the British economy, which he said was sinking into the sea because of the pound's devaluation. So many British lords had gained their wealth by exploiting other nations. Now, having exhausted their good karma, they were suffering the results of their sins. They were too poor to maintain their great estates. They used to have 17 men working full-time just on the garden. Prabhupada exclaimed, and now they cannot even pay the taxes. So they have to give the whole thing up, and it is falling into the hands of the Shudras. Ishana asked Prabhupada, how is it that a person like me from such a degraded background can come to Krishna consciousness? Because you are intelligent, Prabhupada replied. I don't understand. Because you are intelligent, Prabhupada repeated. Ishana's wife, Vibhavati, asked, what is the meaning of spiritual master? Actually, I am not your spiritual master, Prabhupada replied. That title is simply a formality. You should think of me as your spiritual father, your eternal father. As they walked past a tractor, Kulashekara remarked, the tractor is a very wonderful invention, isn't it? Prabhupada turned to Kulashekara. This tractor is the downfall of the Indian village system. Why is that? It does the work of 10 men. Yes, Prabhupada said. Previously, the young men of the village would be engaged in ploughing the field. Then this tractor came along and did the work of all those young men, and they had nothing to do. So they went to the cities to try to find work, and they fell into illusion. Stopping beside a clump of yellowed grass, Prabhupada asked, why is this yellow grass different? No one answered. The other grass is green, he said, but this is yellow. What is the reason? Still no one answered. This yellow grass is drying up, Prabhupada explained, because the roots are not attached. Therefore, it is yellow. Similarly, when we detach ourselves from Krishna, then we will dry up. They walked to a spot where the grass grew almost 6 feet high. Stopping at a path the tractor had cut, Prabhupada smiled. Oh, we can go through there? And he strode ahead with his cane into the head-high jungle of grass and weeds. He walked until he came to a low hill that had been cleared, and he stopped. As he stood there, surrounded by the sea of grass and a few disciples, Kulashekara asked about this song Prabhupada had been singing earlier that morning. The song, Prabhupada said, is about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would rise and he would go out at this time of morning when the sun has risen but is not yet in the sky. As Prabhupada spoke, the mist was already dissipating and the golden glow in the sky had moved higher above the horizon. Prabhupada raised his hands and swayed from side to side. In this way, he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would dance in the morning. As they returned by the main house, John Lennon stood gazing out through the glass doors, watching. Prabhupada, walking with a cane, dressed in his black coat and his Wellingtons, looked like the gentleman of the estate out for his morning walk. Stopping now and then, he would look at certain trees, touching their bark, rubbing their leaves, inspecting them closely. At the beginning of the walk, a devotee had picked a rose and handed it to him, and he still held it in his hand with care. He had walked for an hour. Everywhere the scenery had been beautiful, and everywhere he had instructed his followers in Krishna consciousness. As Prabhupada approached the building where he lived, he met little Saraswati. Taking her hand, he walked along with her to the foot of the stairs, where they stopped. Prabhupada was halfway up the stairs when he turned and saw Saraswati standing in the doorway, watching. He beckoned and called to her, "Come on," and she crawled up the stairs after him. When Saraswati came into Prabhupada's room, he asked her, "So, are you old enough to go to Gurukula?" "No," she said, shaking her head. "Come here. I'm going to put a stamp on your forehead, and then we are going to put you in a red mailbox and send you to Gurukul. Saraswati began to cry. Malati, Malati, I don't want to go, and ran and hid behind her mother. Come on, Saraswati, Prabhupada coaxed. Come sit on my lap, and I will give you some prasadam. She came and sat on Prabhupada's knee. Now get me the stamps, Prabhupada. Purushottam, he teased. We are going to send her to Gurukul. Saraswati shrieked and ran to Malati. To Srila Prabhupada, Saraswati was a pure spirit soul, but because she was in a small child's body, he didn't teach her philosophy. He teased her, gave her prasadam, and treated her with the affection of a grandfather. But through her attachment to him, she would become attached to Krishna. After breakfast, when the sun had warmed the air, Prabhupada opened his windows, sat down at his harmonium, and sang bhajans. As he sang with closed eyes, his head shaking, he played the harmonium, and Yamuna sat at the bottom of the stairs, crying tears of appreciation. Prabhupada had been singing for a while when he stopped and called for Yamuna. Do you enjoy my kirtan? He asked. Yes, she nodded very much. The prayers of Narottam Das Thakur, he said. This sound is above the material platform. It is directly from the spiritual platform, and there is no need of understanding the language. It is just like a thunderburst. Everyone can hear the sound of a thunder. There is no misunderstanding. Similarly, these songs are above the material platform, and they crack like thunder within your heart. Why don't you come here every day during my chanting? That would be wonderful. Yes, said Srila Prabhupada. From now on, we will record. And every morning after that, Prabhupada sang and Purushottam and Yamuna would come to his room and record. What is your favorite bhajan? Yamuna asked. What's yours? Prabhupada returned. Lord Chaitanya's Shikshashtakam prayers. My favorite, said Prabhupada, is Hari Hari Vipale. He recited the gist of the prayer in English. O Lord Hari, I have spent my life uselessly. Although I have taken this rare human birth, I have not worshipped Radha and Krishna, and so I have knowingly drunk poison. There is so much depth of meaning in Narottam Das Thakur's prayers. Purushottama. Once Prabhupada was sitting alone in his room. I walked by and I heard him singing a prayer I had never heard before, and I went in. Of course, everyone knows he sings. He can sing very beautifully, very greatly inspired, but I had never heard him sing as beautifully as he did that one time. I had heard him sing many times in many temples, but I had never heard him sing as beautifully as this. I felt very honored to hear it, very privileged. It was beautiful. When he was done, he just got up and said, Let's go now. Prabhupada also chanted one chapter of Bhagavad Gita daily for 18 days. Anywhere Bhagavad Gita is chanted, he said, that place becomes a tirtha, a holy place. Purushottama reported to the devotees in the United States these activities of Srila Prabhupada. He is singing prayers a lot, and much of it is being recorded. I must admit that the tapes of songs and prayers he is making now are the best ones I have ever heard. Wait until you hear them when we get back. As the Bhagavatam says, drink deep this nectar, O man of piety, and you shall be taken from this material frame, from this mortal frame. The women cooking for Prabhupada were serving him American desserts, apple pie, donuts, glazed cookies. Prabhupada would smile, but he would only nibble at his dessert. One afternoon, he said, These sweets are very nice, but no one has made me sandesh. None of the devotees knew how to make Bengali sweets, so Prabhupada took them into the kitchen and taught them to make sandesh. Although they had watched carefully, their first attempts produced sandesh that was dry and grainy, but Prabhupada accepted it, preferring the sandesh which Krishna himself used to eat to the Western confections. For the devotees at Tittenhurst, to have Prabhupada living among them was again to witness Krishna's pure devotee as he engaged constantly in ecstatic devotional service with his body, mind, and words. They could see how Prabhupada was speaking and acting in Krishna consciousness at every moment, and his presence confirmed that the most exalted platform of pure devotional service was a reality. His disciples felt bliss and renewed determination just being with him. Prabhupada's hosts, John and Yoko, also had the valuable opportunity to be near Prabhupada, although they chose to keep apart. Remaining together in their own world, they mingled but rarely with the devotees. Prabhupada's men continued to work under John's managers, and John was content to let the Swami and his entourage stay. When the head gardener asked John how to treat the devotees, he said, Let them please themselves. On hearing of certain activities in the main house, Prabhupada commented about the bad influence women sometimes have on men, but he kept out of John and Yoko's affairs. He had his own affairs in Krishna consciousness. Having been whisked from the airport to Tittenhurst, Prabhupada had seen little of London, and one day he asked Shyamsundara to take him on a tour of the city. Prabhupada had grown up in British Calcutta, hearing London praised as the seat of Britain's world empire. So when he saw how small many of London's historic landmarks were, he was particularly surprised. At Buckingham Palace, he remarked, "We have many houses in Calcutta bigger than this." The Thames, celebrated in the writings of British authors he had studied in college, was a disappointment also. "It's a canal," he said. "It's only a canal. In my mind, I thought it was bigger than the Ganges." But the most interesting sight was the building at 7 Bury Place. City officials had recently granted the devotees permission to occupy the temple. That part of the battle was won. Now Shyamsundara and his few helpers had to finish the remodeling. On seeing the temple's location near the British Museum and Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, Srila Prabhupada became even more anxious that Shyamsundara fix an opening date as soon as possible. In September, Srila Prabhupada wrote to Swatsvarupa about his stay at Tittenhurst Park. "Here there is a nice big hall, exactly suitable for a temple. I have begun to give lectures here on specific days, but there are no outsiders coming." Prabhupada wanted to preach to the outsiders, and if they wouldn't come to him, he would go to them. His first outside meeting arranged by the devotees was at the Camden Town Hall in the heart of London, and was well attended both by Britishers and by Indians. After Prabhupada's brief lecture, only about 15 minutes, a lively question and answer session began. Woman: "Would you say Krishna is God or Krishna is love?" Prabhupada: "Without love, how can Krishna be God?" Woman: "No, I asked you." Prabhupada: "Yes, that is the real position. Krishna means all attractive. Anything which is all attractive, you generally love." Man: "Then the particle of the Supreme Being, man, is also all love." Prabhupada: "Yes, you are part and parcel of Krishna. You want to love somebody, and Krishna wants to love you. This is loving exchange. But instead of loving Krishna, you are trying to love something else. That is your trouble. The love is there in you and Krishna, and when the love will be exchanged between you and Krishna, that will be your perfection of life." Man: "Thank you." Indian woman: "Would it matter if I worshipped any other? Would it matter whether I worship Krishna or Shiva or Christ or Buddha? Would it matter?" Prabhupada: "If you worship Shiva, you will get Shiva. If you worship Krishna, you will get Krishna. Why do you expect Krishna by worshipping Shiva? What is your idea?" Indian woman: "My idea is, would it matter?" Prabhupada: "Don't you suppose if you purchase a ticket for India, you will go to India? How can you go to America?" Indian woman: "This is not the point." Prabhupada: "This is the point. That is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitran yanti pitra vrata." Indian woman: "But my point is," Prabhupada: "Your point you understand. Why don't you understand the description of Bhagavad Gita? If you worship demigods like Shiva and others, you will go there. If you worship Krishna, you will go to Krishna. What is the difficulty to understand?" Indian woman: "Do you think that Shiva is a demigod?" Prabhupada: "Yes, why not?" Indian woman: "But Krishna says that it doesn't matter the way you worship. All means have the same goal, and you will reach the same goal. You can take the different paths, but you will come to me eventually." Prabhupada: "Try to understand. Suppose you have to go to the 42nd floor of a building, and you are going up one after another. So the goal is the 42nd story, but you cannot claim that after going a few steps, I have come to the goal, the 42nd story. The path is one, that's all right, but you have to reach the ultimate goal. You do not know what is the ultimate goal. You simply say all paths reach to this goal, but you do not know what is the ultimate goal." Okay, I think we'll pause here, 6:30. We'll continue from here tomorrow. Okay. Yes, anybody has any thoughts or reflections from today's reading? Our little Saraswati. We'll put you in a, we'll put a stamp and put you in a mailbox and send you to Gurukul. Very good. So Prabhupada is having a fun time. Remember, he was supposed to come here to London when he was a child, and like he's remembering all of those things while he's doing his morning walk. He's remembering how he was called nicknames, Nandu, Kacha, and he was supposed to come to London, and his uncle wanted him to go to London to become a barrister, but his father had objected and didn't permit him that time. But now he has come to London to give to the Britishers, like he famously says, they plundered everything, the British Empire all over the world, and especially in India. They plundered everything, all the wealth and everything they took, but they forgot one thing, which is what he has come to give them, the knowledge of our Shastras through the book of Bhagavad Gita. So like he says, you forgot one thing and I've come to give you that. So now he's back in London, and yeah, it's like the other thing that we read is about the challenges that they were having, and again coincides with what the challenges we've been having in Cincinnati. But just like they got the permit, we have also got the permit. Actually, we've got the zoning certificate now, and we are working through our building permit for our Sims Township Center C2. So hopefully we can see what happens, what's Krishna's plans. It will be revealed soon. We'll be able to go back there and perform our weekly programs. It may not be exactly as we do right now with all the TT worship, and also we'll see how that goes. But a lot of interesting things happening in London and interesting things happening in Cincinnati when we are all connected through Krishna consciousness. Like Prabhupada used to send these young disciples out in the city, and with gravity, like we were reading yesterday, as a guru, he was instructing them not only in Krishna consciousness but also in worldly affairs, how to deal with the world around them. So yeah, similarly, actually Malati Mataji, when she messaged me about some corrections yesterday in our Jhulan Yatra, and so anyway, so I acknowledged that, and then I was just remembering how Prabhupada used to correct them, when they were going wrong. So it is good, we are so grateful that we have these wonderful disciples of Srila Prabhupada to guide us along the step every way. And we do something good, she acknowledges, and we do something bad or something that requires correction, she immediately responds and corrects me. So that is nice. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other thoughts, comments? Nobody has any other comments today? Alrighty. Okay, if not, then we'll stop here. As always, thank you so much for your kind association. And yes, this week will be, today's Thursday, yeah. Well, not today, today is Friday, sorry. So today, and then tomorrow we'll have Jhulan Yatra Festival at the center. Unfortunately, I will not be here, but I wish everybody has a wonderful celebration with our special speaker coming from Vrindavan, His Grace Harivamsha Prabhu, and hope it will be a wonderful festival which will transport us to Vrindavan. Okay, thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Have a great day, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.